I'm Brentan, and I wanted to make you guys a short video full of shoulder stretches that should feel awesome, and it only takes you a couple of minutes. So if you have chronically tight shoulders or if it's just been one of those days, pull up a seat with me on your yoga mat, or if that doesn't feel good, you can sit on the edge of a chair for this stuff as well. And so let's just start here. You want to find that you can sit with your shoulders right over your pelvis. So all of that should feel good, with your ears drawing back too. So what we want to do is we want to set the neck and shoulders in a place that feels good already. And then once we feel good already, that's when we can start just little movements. So I'm even going to close my eyes. And these movements can be shoulder rolls, they can be neck rolls, they can be any type of movement. And during this time, just kind of start to deepen your breath a little bit too, because I think a lot of times what makes our shoulders so sore is not necessarily the muscles, but it's our thoughts. And it's our thoughts that get reinforced as muscular tension. And so when we stretch the shoulders, we'll get much better results if we can also kind of stretch the mind, I guess. And then do a couple of neck stretches here. Oh my gosh. And if you kind of just woke up like I did, you'll feel all of the places that you slept weird, as I'm now finding out. And try to not let your torso go here, so keep your torso nice and lifted. And then from here, we can start with a little torso opening. So just kind of freeing up this whole area. When you're ready, just take an inhale and stretch your arms as high up to the sky as is comfortable for your body. So don't try to force the comfort right now. That's not what we're going for. Just let them lift up. They can be really wide. They can be, this might be as comfortable as they get. That's okay. And then let's take a side stretch. So if you're sitting on a chair, grab a table or something that you can side stretch over, a wall even, and then ground and just reach over, again, as much as feels good. Now use your grounded hand to push your object away from you. And that'll tack both of your sitting bones down on the floor or on your chair. Bend into your bottom elbow if you can, and swing it towards your left hip bone, so that if you were to lower the forearm, the elbow would point right by that hip bone. I don't know if you can see that. Now let's take a little bit of movement here. Take a nice big inhale, open, and then exhale. You're gonna curl into that side. So just as much as feels good, draw your chin in, and then inhale, open, and exhale, curl in. One more. And then I prefer walking myself forward, but really just let your body tell you what to do. Feel yourself now. Have your ribs opened a little bit more. You know, when we experience tightness up here, that tightness will often kind of drain down into the rest of the torso cavity. So it's good to loosen up everything together. Let's take an inhale and stretch the arms again, wherever it felt good on the first time. And maybe there's something different that feels good now. Wow, be open to that. And then drop the opposite hand, your other hand, and stretch over. Now it's important not to overstretch here. And sometimes when we overstretch our bodies, we don't feel it until after we get out of the pose, like, oh, like I did something. So we want to get good at really looking at what our experience is, really not pushing anything here, but rather just being the observer of it and really seeing like what is going on. Take your roundings. And it's almost like you're opening from a back bend a little bit to a back round. And so that should feel really similar to your cat-cow poses. And cat-cows would be another great thing I would recommend anyone who's having a rough day on the shoulders. Come up. And then you can stay where you are, but I'm going to spin around so you can see what's going on with my shoulders behind me. from here, we'll take the hands to the low back. And you want to be able to do this without back bending. So without, the back view of this might not be as helpful as a side view, but a back bend would look, like you're jutting your whole front body forward to get the ability to move the hands behind you. So we still want to keep that same alignment we just had. Heart lifting, shoulders dropping, ears right over the shoulders. And that's the one I miss up the most just because I'm so used to carrying my head forward of my heart. And then you might just find that this is quite enough right here. A lot of people do. If you can keep the alignment of your spine and take a shoulder bind, start by clasping your hands and thumbs, and then squeezing the muscles of your upper arms to move your arm bones toward each other on the back. And if your chin juts forward, pull it back. Try to get out of a back bend if you went there. And then we're just gonna drag our bind over to the right hip. Now we're trying not to add a side bend in here. That's normal to get into it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna lift you up into it. That's normal. But then set yourself down, set the right shoulder down, and squeeze the right elbow in. Now if you're just working at hands on back, you're gonna squeeze your left elbow towards your right, and you're gonna squeeze your right elbow towards your left. But you're gonna pay attention more to the left one, because that's the one that we're pulling over to the right side waist in this version. Drop both shoulders. Lift all the way out through the whole skull, and then drop the left ear down. Drop your right shoulder down, so you create kind of like a sag, a drip through your right side neck and throat. And then start a little rotation. Look down at your left armpit. Keep your left ear close to your shoulder, but look up at the sky. And then maybe one more time if that felt good. And then keep the neck there. Release the hands. Gently draw the left hand to the skull. Reach the right fingertips down away from you. If it touches the floor, that's great. If not, you just reach the finger away from you and just give a little gentle tug. Use your hand to orient your chin down to your chest. And gently take a little half roll to the other side to neutralize. And push your skull upright. We'll take the other side. Interlock the hands or take the hands to the low back. And this one we're going to focus on pulling the right hand over to the left side waist. So once you pull it over there, mind your side stretch. That's a tough one to pay attention to totally. Take your shoulders down, get your spine all aligned, and then you can start to squeeze your left elbow into the midline. If you have hands at your low back, you're going to work more on squeezing your right elbow towards your left. And then you're also going to hug the left elbow in as well, but you're going to focus more on the right one. When you're ready, let's drop the right ear down. Drop the left shoulder away from it. And you can add a few rotations. Chin rolls down to the armpit and up to the sky. 2 more. And then we can keep the ear and shoulder connection, release the hands, gently unwind. Draw the right hand to the skull, drop it over again, drop the right shoulder, reach the left hand down away from you. If it grabs the floor or an object, you just push. If it grabs for the air, you push still. So look at your air molecules as if they were objects like the floor or like a block. You could even use a block if you're at home and the floor is too far away from you. Go ahead and let the skull drop down to center. Let it half roll its way to the other side to neutralize. Take the left hand, gently guide the skull up. And last thing, let's take a little back bend. So you want to be able to walk yourself back here. And then bend into the elbows, sweep them towards each other, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and press your heart up to the sky. If it feels good for you and you have a regular back bending practice, drop your throat back and look back. And lift up. Walk yourself forward. I'll spin myself around. You probably didn't move yourself. But just see how your shoulders feel now. Hopefully they feel better. And if you got any more kinks, work them out by yourself. Start to study that type of stuff. That's the fun part of yoga. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.